It takes time. Let me just say that to you. Just like your hair growing, it doesn't happen in a day. It takes time. What am I referring to? The programming, the conditioning, the brainwashing, the manipulation, the strategic hypnosis causing you to surrender your energy. That's what I'm referring to. You have to flush out these things, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't happen in a day because remember, it's first off, let me say this to you. It's not your fault. When you were born into this illusion, you were unconsciously indoctrinated into this game. You didn't know. So when you started asking questions, the answers you were receiving were lies. So that's what your whole life is based on. The premise of a lie, believing that it's the truth. So you operate in that direction, and that's where your energy goes. So you only know fear and surrender of energy to what you refer to as authority figures, because they will arrest you, throw you in jail, take away your money, make your life a nightmare, finding yourself in a world of hurt, these types of things. So it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Please take time with these things. It's very important that you do. Why? Because you'll find yourself in a place where you're becoming somebody that will be absolutely extraordinary and remarkable, the person that God knew you were all along. This is the reason why Source never gave up on you, because Source sees in you what you failed to see in yourself because of your programming. God knows where you're going to be in your life. You can't see that far down the road because you're blinded by this perceptive lens of duality and the system. And it won't let you see anything other than what they have deemed and declared as valid projections of reality, which is actually an illusion. You see, that's the hypnosis, that's the brainwashing, that's the mind games, the mind trap, the mind virus. It's all social content, social media. That's the manipulation. That's the hive mind collective you're connected to. That's what's manipulating your brainwaves. That's why you're so afraid to speak out or speak up or be different. But it's soon going to come to the point in this world where you're not going to be left with any other option other than to do so, because they're attempting to basically enslave you for thousands of years. And people are going to rise up in great numbers and take back control of the life that they surrendered to this system a long time ago. I'm very proud of myself because the last few days, I totally obliterated my social programming. And it's not easy because the mind is still locked into that. But you have to say to yourself, I'm in control as a soul, and I'm going to transmute the mind into becoming a viable source of positivity and productive light and high vibrational magic. And yes, you do have that capability and that capacity to do it. And also, you do have the capacity and the capability to think for yourself. Just stop believing what you're hearing and seeing on YouTube and TikTok. And you have to use discernment with these things, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just believe everything that you hear as being truth and take everything at face value as being the absolute irrefutable proof of the world is coming to an end. It's nonsense. They control you with fear. I've said it so many times because it bears repeating. What I'm referring to in this video is the fact that, like somebody who's on drugs, if you're on heroin for 30 years, it doesn't just flush out of your system in a day and you go back to some sort of state of normalcy where you're not dependent anymore. You'll always be in a state of dependency as long as you stay connected to that compound, that element, that drug. And in this case, it's fear and paranoia that they get you addicted to, and negativity, and they control you with it because they get you to do it to yourself. You have the power to realize that God is reality. And please do not misconstrue when I say the name God as being synonymous with religion, because it is not. Religion is the matrix. True spirit, that's source, which is you. When I say God, I mean you. You. Not up in the sky, some white dude living in a white heaven with all Caucasian angels, sitting up there with one son who wrote one book, all that nonsense. That's the system. Because where was religion when the earth was created? Where was religion when the universe was created? Because there was no creation of the universe. It always was and always will be. And the same for the earth. The earth isn't 5 billion years old. The earth is a hologram. It's not even here. Where was religion when the dinosaurs were walking the earth? Nowhere to be found. So how could it be the word of God if dinosaurs are far older than you and I? It can't be. Just run the numbers. That's all you have to do, is just do the math. You know, the math that they love so much, use their system and make the comparisons for yourself. You'll clearly see the monumentally unfathomable discrepancies right before you. All you have to do is extrapolate the information in juxtaposition to the age of everything around you, and you'll clearly see what's going on, brothers and sisters. Please do your thinking for yourself. What came first, the earth or religion? Grab your phone and Google it and tell me the difference, the span between the age of the earth and the oldest religion. It's billions of years different. There you go. This stuff takes time to flush out because you've been conditioned subliminally and unconsciously and subconsciously to instantaneously revert to a negative default setting where you begin immediately envisioning worst-case scenario situations. This is why you are always crippled and paralyzed beyond the capacity of all forms of rational thought, because you're not doing your thinking for yourself. The minds of the few control the minds of the many. When everyone is thinking the same, no one is thinking at all. And that's what we have here before us, but that's changing. You can clearly see people are not buying into the lies anymore. They're not believing what they're being told by these three-letter agencies, the news, social media, and whatever type of outlet or resource that you're getting your information from. They're not buying into it anymore. It takes time. Don't be hard on yourself. Because what they did to you is they drugged you with something that's intangible, imperceivable, inaudible, silent, invisible, but deadly. What am I referring to? Negativity. And in all of its facets, aspects, functions, and its forms, negativity can destroy every area of your life if you allow it, by surrendering your energy through fear, by your being overly concerned with what people think about you, to authority figures such as governments and corporations. They could lock you up. No, they can't. They don't have that power. Besides, who gave them that power? They gave themselves that power. If you look at any judicial system or any law enforcement agency, who gave them that power? God didn't. They gave it to themselves. So by the very virtue of the nature of this beast, they have no authority at all, because every government, every corporation, every law, and every rule is illegal in the eyes of God. Because Source created these things. And as far as the end of the world, the only one that can end the world is the one who created it. And that is not you, that is not them, and that is not me. That is God. Remember that. So stop panicking. The sky is not falling, and it's not Armageddon, doomsday, apocalypse, the end of days, the end of the world, all of that nonsense. You have got to pull yourself together. It's your social programming that feeds this narrative and makes it a reality. As I've said, the power of suggestive influence is so vastly profound that it impacts you gravely, detrimentally, and adversely to such a deteriorated degree that you wind up unconsciously surrendering your energy to the belief of this information being true, and you make it a reality by sending your energy at a future point in your timeline, so to speak, and that's what you will face inevitably and eventually. They know this. That's why they do it to you, and that's why they get you to do it to yourself. And that's why I make these videos. Breathe, reset, and take steps every day to you regaining, recapturing, recontrolling, and taking back your individuality and the energy and the power and the control that you gave them. It isn't your fault. You didn't know because you were an infant. How could you? Your parents, your grandparents, your neighborhood, your friends, the school, all of the things you were raised with and raised by trained you unconditionally to believe that what you're told is the truth, when it's not, because they don't know any better either. When you have somebody who's blinded to the reality of Source teaching you the ways of what they feel life is, what do you think the types of teachings you are about to receive are comprised of? It's the same misinformation, disinformation, and lies, because they don't know any better. They believe that if I vote Republican, Donald Trump will save the world. That my vote counts. That suffrage is a real thing. Just look up the definition of the word eminent domain. This is not a democracy. This is a constitutional republic, first off. But in actuality of truth, this is a plutocratic kleptocracy run by totalitarian oligarchs that are, blinded with, delusions of godlyhood and, total global domination through the proliferation of technological, propaganda. Psychological warfare waged against the human imagination, folks. That's what we're dealing with here. You folks need to just realize you are the power. Give you an example before I end the video. When you realize how much power you have, then you won't be so ready to lord it over to somebody unconsciously. There was a company years ago that was a women's feminine products, Tampax company. They used to sell 40 tampons in a box for like, $3-4. Then some corporate person decided to say, hey, let's sell them 32 at the same price. So the consumers said, really? Watch this. We're not going to buy your product. And they boycotted the company and almost shut them down. What did they do? They had to put the 40 back. But what they did is cute because they were so hurt. They didn't want to be caught with their tail between their legs. What they did was 32 plus an extra 8 for free. So they knew they messed up because the consumer holds the power. If you stop buying their products, if everybody decided not to shop on Amazon, Amazon would be out of business. You have the power. If you don't want to shop at your local grocery store, that place would go out of business because they need your money. And in this instance, it's your energy that they need. And when you stop giving them your energy, you will shut them down because they don't have any power. Purge your social programming. It's a toxin that's floating around in your system. Just like heroin, cocaine, crack, alcohol, any type of addiction. Because God needs you to be that high vibrational person that God always knew that you can be and will be. You just have to see it in yourself. And you have to realize your ultimate and unlimited transformative potential of being something and becoming something that you have never even realized or imagined yourself to be. Because you're trained by the system to be ordinary and average. Whatever that is. And of course, normal. Whatever that is. But anyway, forget about the nonsense of the pineal gland and chakras and the third eye. That's all made up stuff. Because where was that before human beings ever came onto the scene on Earth? It didn't exist. That stuff, the pineal gland and chakras, that's only what? A few hundred years old, maybe 1,000, It's not that old, that system. It's just another system to control you, to make you believe something to be the truth when it's not. It diverts your attention away from actually creating things of substance is what it does. You are not the body. I've said it before. So how could you be the mind if you're not the body? Because how could you have an out-of-body experience if this is all you are? That would be impossible. I'm hoping that you're getting the clearer picture here. And I hope that you understand and you're receiving the message that I'm sending. Start purging your toxic social programming. Get it out of you, because that's what's causing you to gravitate towards TikTok and those certain videos on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the social media content that is gobbling up your innocence, your purity, your inner child, your essence, your presence, your being, your consciousness, and reconverting it into just piles of trash and heaps of garbage. And that's what you're toting around with you all day long. That's why people honestly believe that what they're told is the truth by the system. Look at what happened 4 years ago with the scam they run. The scam that they ran on people. They got people to run out and, take the pokey because very well-dressed strangers on a news broadcast channel told them to do it. And they got so spooked, they ran out and got 3 and 4. And the backup stuff, too, that rhymes with rooster, but begins with a B. And now they're all regretting it. Because now all of the people that were the advocates on those news channels are coming out and saying it was all a lie. It was everything. The conspiracy theorists were right. You'll see it oozing itself out eventually. And I hope this will get you to realize that not only was that a lie, but everything you're taught and told in their system is a lie as well. It's the truth. They don't want you to be an individual. They don't want you to be proactive and autonomous. And they most certainly do not want you to realize your unlimited transformative potential energy as a cosmic being, Homo luminous, not a finite creature, Homo sapien. That's what they don't want. Start purging your programming day by day. What am I talking about? The patterns that you're following, undo them, diffuse them, and start creating new designs that you have never seen before. Use what you erroneously refer to as your imagination. That is not imaginary, and that will be the unlimited resource that will get the job done for you. This all starts with self-love. If you don't love yourself, none of this is going to work. That's why they always downplay love. That's why in tennis, that's the game that love means nothing. 30 love, which means 30-0, 30-0. Instead of saying 30-0, they say 30 love for a reason. They want you to associate love with meaning nothing. I hope you're catching on. Pat Benatar, love is a battlefield. Tina Turner, what's love but a secondhand emotion? They don't say hate is a battlefield. They don't say hate is a secondhand emotion. Or they say only the good die young. All good things must come to an end. You don't hear them say only the bad die young. All bad things must come to an end. You don't hear that because those sayings don't exist for a reason. I hope you're catching on, folks. You've been lied to your whole life. And that's why your life is a lie. And that's why you defend this with cognitive dissonance, ad hominem. And that's why you'll dispatch anyone with extreme prejudice whose core set of beliefs and values run contrary to yours, because that's your programming. You got to just wake up yourself. It's not my job to do that. Only you can awaken yourself and allow yourself to rise and ascend into enlightenment and consciousness, awareness, and then, to become ethereal again, not corporeal. God bless you.